changed. So now it's like, oh shoot, now I got to fight my way back as quick as possible. So I need a plan to flex off of and the tools to do it.
Welcome back to the Two Promises podcast. Let's dive right into another exciting adventure with BD and crew as he pursues his new passion of one day finding the best, most epic bourbon. The Two Promises team sends their special thanks to Hobie and the Huckleberries for that masterful theme music. So grab a glass, relax, and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey and I'm feeling fine. Drinking that slow, slow whiskey. No more wine. I like straight bourbon. Baby, you try the ride.
I also have PBI, okay? So I'm very distractible. It's hard for me to remember things. And when I get in those focus modes and those flow modes and I resonate off things, I resonate powerfully. Mm-hmm. And then my brain just data dumps anything that we just talked about.
Right.
So that's why look at this. I have these chalkboards and I have things so that I could just scroll notes. And I have one for you.
That.
So let's go back to the tools. Perfect transition to the tools. A little bit overwhelmed. How am I doing this? How am I preparing myself to just sprint into, and other people do it. I'm not trying to say I'm alone in this. I'm not trying to say, oh, look at me, I'm so cool. What I'm trying to say is, when I sprint into these darknesses, I need to prepare myself before I go.
Yeah.
I have to have some idea of what I'm going to do when I'm there so I can flex off of. If I think I'm going in there to do research or to like take a map and like kind of draw it out, I'm planning on being there for a while. If I'm sprinting in to drop an anchor, that's different. So I need to kind of prepare. But as soon as I get in there, guess what? It's dark and it's scary. Think Stranger Things. You go into that little weird room, and you get all these creatures, and you thought you just had to go 500 meters to drop a flag because you'd seen that hill before, and now everything's changed. So now it's like, oh shoot, now I got to fight my way back as quick as possible. So I need a plan to flex off of and the tools to do it. So, a tool for you. I think this is going to be perfect. So what I've been kind of doing is thinking about like fictional characters. Any fictional related to that has some motivation behind it or some like cool superpower, or they just did something some cool way. Like Great Gatsby, Aviator, Count of Monte Cristo, The Hulk, Spider-Man, I don't care. Just come up with something. Bible stories, philosophy stories, Quran stories, doesn't matter. Find those heroes, find those people, right? That like champion the cause, that gave you those feel-good feelings, right? So I knew you had some stress about me just running in the middle of your morning and just being like, hey, I'm setting up my recording equipment. I'm just bringing my toys over. I don't know what it's going to look like. It's even going to work, but I think I got it worked out yesterday and I just need to record stuff, or my whole team that is believing on me and believing me to like get some recorded content for them in 10 days of lunch. Like, I love you, Mama, but I need to record something, even if it's garbage, even if it's unedible. I need to practice these skills. So thank you, one, for letting me do that, and I wanted to also help me be comfortable, or maybe you be comfortable. So a tool was perfect. I'm so glad that we got it. Check this out. Are you ready? I'm going to change the words, but I got this at Walmart when I was going in to kind of prepare for some trips that I might have. So, I got this for me, and I got this for literally anybody around me. I'm going to change some of these words, but what I would like to practice with, I think this could be a good tool as I'm learning to be a podcaster and a host and collaborative storytelling, and also me processing trauma and getting into some other topics of trauma with other people. Anchor. So for you, I knew I didn't really need to do it because you were already ready to go. But if you weren't, this would have been our tool to get you there.
Right.
So I'd say, for the purposes of the next hour, what do you want this to look like? So when you start getting into your places that you need a reset from, if you don't have a tool in your environment like I'm trying to create for myself, you have a board. And you just glance over that, take a pause. I'll come up with something to say to fill that space.
You're true. It does. I can see that because you just totally bring yourself out of this.
Yeah.
And then you're there. And
yeah. Exactly. It's going to work so good. And so this is what I'm trying to do in my emotional, because like I said, my most dangerous psychological feelings typically on the day-to-day is going from place to place. Whether it's getting in the car and driving, or just if there's uncertainty inside, if I'm wandering around out in the world and I don't have a purpose and I don't have a plan and I don't have a place to go and I'm with other people, that can create a lot of anxiety for me. Because for us, those are our most vulnerable points on a mission.
Right.
We have the least amount of control measures to protect us in those spaces. Actions on the objective, whenever we're hitting the target, if we're doing it right, we have the most control measures in place.
Right.
So those are scary places for me naturally. So I'm going to be more anxious floating around at Walmart, driving a car. It's just conditioned in me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out of it. So I'm thinking through these, how can I? How can I? Like I said, I'm a dude who just washed up on a beach in a weird place with a weird set of skills and just said, well, whatever I got around me, what do I want to build? How am I going to do it? How fast? How big do we want to go? Who wants to come along?
Right.
Right? So here, so you can put, today I am, say, Wonder Woman. Right? I don't know. What would you put in there? What would you...
Bro, that's what my thought was.
Cool. So you are
my
Wonder
kids
Woman.
tell me that.
You're Wonder Woman. That's what I thought. I mean, I knew that's what it was, but I kind of felt bad projecting it. But since we both agree, perfect. Oh, and I got different colors. I like colors. Colors are helping me too. So this will make it easier, but let's just leave that in the package for now. Okay. Because we didn't need to. I was also going to have you write it in yourself, if you wanted to reinforce that feeling. I'm working on maximizing my ability to sense and feel and anchor myself to those senses as much as I can in the environment. So I carry around a weird bag of tricks just in case I need something to get me through to where I get to my next little piece of cover. Right? Sometimes I'm like, hey, and sometimes if I'm scared enough, I'll ask my friends, dude, cover me. Like on social media or whatever. Hey, man, I'm scared. I'm in a bad spot. This is what is stressing me out. This is what's worrying me. Here, boom. Cover me, I'm going in. Or cover me, I got to get to a better shooting position. Right? So, you're Wonder Woman. And then I want to change these. I'm going to get some, whatever you call them, like those strips or something. Or maybe I'll just peel these off and rewrite them. Or maybe I'll just find it. But instead of your favorite color, it could be like, okay, in this journey on this podcast today, what else would you want to channel? It could be your color. Like, what color reminds you of Kyle? It could be something like that. Or what color will center you in your emotions? So then we can just keep writing these out before we even start rolling the mic.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're comfortable, right? So what color? Let's just do it. Let's just exercise this together. For this recording, or the next recording, or the next big thing, for the wedding. Let's start talking about the wedding. You're going to have to center yourself for the wedding. Create the superhero that you need to be to manage your expectations, to pivot off of strange unknowns that are going to come, whether that's situations or emotions that bubble up at weird times. Right. So what color is going to be your anchor? And you don't have to answer it now, but this is the exercise that I think if we can get in the habit of, if I can get in the habit of, it's going to be helpful for me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, I'm a learner, and if you want to talk about learning, we'll talk about learning later. Sorry. But you guys have so much good stuff coming. You have so much good stuff coming that I just can't stay on task, which is a big thing why I need people around me to keep me on task. What's your theme song for the wedding? What are your hobbies? What are you going to want to do? What's going to be fun for you on this? Of course, you want to make sure Kent Palmer and his lovely wife have the best day, and you want to support your husband as he marries them. So I'm telling too many secrets now. but this is what it is. And like, we can change these things, but this is a board. This is a reference. This is your acting call sheet or your acting sheet. This is, what do you call it in acting? Like your script or whatever.
Yeah.
Or at least your character bio.
Definitely.
So when I go to the wedding and we celebrate this life, now let's talk about the wedding because that is a huge part of this whole thing. So will you tell us a little story about the wedding? And look at this in the meantime and think about it. See if something pops up.
Well,
and you got some chalk and you got a chalkboard. Actually, let's give you the big one because you might have a lot of notes. I don't know. Here's this.
Well, we are really excited about the wedding. Kent Palmer is one of the guys. He didn't come to the first ride with the guys. He came the second year, though. And Kent wrote a song for Kyle's memorial service in Iraq. We never knew Kent Palmer. Kyle hadn't really talked about him. You know, they didn't do the same things on their everyday.
Do you remember some of the lyrics at all? Do you remember at least how
he's dancing more than I am. It talked about how when he got up this morning, he was looking at life a different way, but now he's dancing with Jesus, and he's dancing more than I am.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that's the guy getting married. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the guy getting married. And when we went,
I know that, but
when we went out to Camp Lejeune in April of 2006, they did a memorial service for all the Marines that had been lost in a year from Camp Lejeune. And John and I made it a point.
I have a buddy from boot camp that was at that service, and he said, "Hey, what was your buddy's name again? We kept talking about it at boot camp."
Really?
For real. Keep going though.
We made a point of having to meet him. I didn't know him. I'm like, I have to meet him and hug him and tell him how good that song made me feel. You know, when I heard that. And we did. We met him. We took him out to dinner. He's a couple years older than Kyle. You know, he had already been in. Ramadi was his second deployment. This is Kent.
So he's the experienced mentor. Maybe he might not be in like a leadership position, but he's probably a fire team leader, or at least a dude who's got knowledge.
And he was in comms, and Kyle was in headquarters. You know, so they weren't really together. But when you only have 200 guys go, everybody knows everybody. And Kent says it all the time that he said, when I met you down here, he said, you hugged me like a mom would hug her son. And that's how I felt when I was hugging him. Just thanking him for doing something that meant so much, because I thought, this song will be part of us now for the rest of our lives, you know, of just knowing that was written for him and sung for him. And from that point on, that's how it's been. Kent is like one of my own, too.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So part of kind of what I'm doing is we're getting our gear list together for deployment number 8. Like I said, I'm planning deployment number 8. I got my Frago, I got my warning order, I got whatever you want to call it that you understand based on your understanding of military jargon. I know I'm supposed to go on deployment number 8. Deployment number 8 is my way I want to deploy on the world for maximum good. Okay, so I'm trying to get my gear list together, and that story helped me. So I have a rucksack, I got a couple boxes, I need my audio equipment, but I need things that you're telling me. All these stories that I'm hearing are giving me clues of what I need to prepare for.
Yeah. So
my list of gear to look for so that I can get as much of it as I can, because it's going to be important to get us through, we're going to need a lot of hugs. I think I got it listed here. I circled it. So guys, girls, people listening, people on social media, go find some hugs.
Absolutely.
We're going to need all the hugs we can get for deployment number 8 because Mama Cheryl says so.
Yep.
Look for some hugs. Find some hugs, people.
It's healing.
Go, 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 go. Go,
it's
go, go,
healing.
go. All right, cool. Sorry. Back to it.
And Kent has struggled.
Can I be a little selfish?
Yes.
Right now?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to be a little selfish right now. I love Kent myself. Kent has been my kind of mentor, battle buddy type thing too, in our own unique way. I have seen him struggle. I have seen him deal with, people call it transition, reintegration, just being, processing, sorting, healing, figuring out all of that as you go back to whatever it is you think you should do.
He spent 12 years in.
It's incredible. So incredible. That's so much experience. And I don't really know that about his story, because whenever we hit, again, like I told my mom, I just try to live really hard in like stolen moments almost.
Yeah.
And so I just try to maximize whatever I can get out of that little moment, that connection with friends and family and battle buddies. Because it's, hey man, as soon as I walk out that door, what boots are you wearing and what mission are you going on?
Right.
So I had some really weird behaviors through the years, which makes it kind of entertaining, I guess. But so I've seen him, and he's always been there for me in weird ways. And in the right ways and perfect ways and ways that I didn't know or the ways that I saw later.
Yeah.
Right? So one, this is the craziest thing. And I so love that we're talking to each other today, and this is so perfect. Everything has come together so magically if we really want to get down to it. This started with me in survival mode, in panic mode, feeling like I was that dude that just got lost on a mission. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got separated from my unit. I am out in a very scary place, and it is not at all what I thought it was going to be like. I know. It is scary. It's so scary.
Oh, you see baby crying.
So I'm a little isolated. I'm feeling isolated. I'm like, well, shoot, I need to heal. I need to build a foundation. I need to build something. I need a platform. So I need a home base. I need a base of operations. How do I build that? Okay. I'll ramble.
Okay.
All right. Re-anchor me on what we were talking about, or what I was jabbering about.
Kent.
Thank you. There, Kent and build. Yep, cool. Kent. Okay, so in this place that I found myself, like, trying to build this podcast, which is what I call my platform or my foundation, my base of operations, trying to build this to, one, get a little bit of, isolate a couple areas of comfort, isolate some forward staging bases, operate some, bases of support, right? We call that essentially creating white space in our industry for our profession. So I'm like, well, shoot, I'm just like this dude, alone and unafraid, this lone wolf. I don't like being a lone wolf. I don't want to be a lone wolf. Like, that's not cool for me. I like playing teams where I thrive. That's who BD is. I've been playing team my whole life, and I need to play team, or it's too scary for me. I will get eaten by freaking, I don't know, ants or antelope or a whale. Who knows? So team. We gotta play team. I need to play team. It only works if we all. There's a mantra. I got it written down. It only works if we all work together, or something like that. I'll put it out. You're gonna see it all over the place. I just haven't organized things enough to get us there. So Kent, he's been there for me. So now I just started a few months ago, probably June, July. I started a period of getting healthy, cleaning up some of my bad behaviors or negative habits or destructive habits. Out of shape for me. I was way overweight. Whenever I got measured for my new uniforms, which relates back to the wedding as well, I was like, there's no way that tape is correct, right? But I was so depressed, and I was in such a toxic place, but there was also just enough right people in my life at the time to kind of like help me get through some of the worst experiences I've experienced. Well, whenever I started this journey of getting healthy and wanting to heal myself and wanting to heal others and fighting toxicity, I just set some dates, some anchors. I was like, all right, this is my line. These are my metrics. These are my non-negotiables. I had to come up with enough non-negotiables, just a few non-negotiables. Not too many non-negotiables, just a few. And then grace and flexibility on how to get there and what it's going to look like, right? And then some other minor values that are also important, but aren't as necessary and vital for right now. I believe in them. I think they're part of being a good person and being a good citizen in the whole world community. But sometimes no one can be all things at all times. And all of those perfect expressions of values and character. It's impossible. But we can refine it. We can sharpen it. We can improve it. We can toy around with it. So, sidebar. Kent. I knew he invited me to the wedding. I've lived at so many addresses, and I'm so mobile, and I don't even know what I'm going to be doing next month. So how do I know where to have anybody send me mail? You know what I mean? So he sent me this mail. My dad took a picture of it, as anything that goes through my house there does. He just takes a picture and sends it to me. Usually I have no idea what box to put that in terms of me trying to process, because I'm probably like, dude, there's been times where I thought we were restarting a new war, like, that has been done for a while. So that's like the stresses that I've been dealing with as people are sending me mail, realistically. And I'm not trying to devalue these milestones and these loving events in their life, but I also have to just survive and get through. So in the middle of my freaking creating my non-negotiables, I just started with dates. And I was like, okay, what's a date that I can not forget? because I also struggle with TBI, short-term memory issues, long-term memory issues, distractibility, mood issues, behavioral issues, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff with whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of labels and things, but you have chronic stress, you have PTSD, you have like all these different terms, and there's things that I'd say that our warfighters are going through that are not in that manual of mental health issues. Because, I mean, even just reading the books of World War II, Korean War, and knowing the stories of my grandfather, PTSD is a wild animal. Anyway, so Kent, I've seen him go through that struggle as I've gone through that struggle, as I've been in the struggle. Beautifully, his wedding is September 12th. The launch date for my podcast was September 13th. While I had access to that information, it had not seated itself, taken root in my mind. So now, in conjunction with being able to start this podcast on the 13th, because of how I've worked with my team and mentors to get us to where those last few days, I can really just be in the moment, because we've been working together as a team for a few months now. I get to celebrate the wedding of what I want to call one of my best friends the day before I launch my podcast, and it's all this beautiful story because we're all connected. So to me, that makes this wedding and this story with Kent so uber special.
It is.
And go ahead. Let's let you chat a little bit. That might be like my little secret that I might hold on for myself. So I want Mama Cheryl to talk for a little bit. I had something I wanted to share, just didn't know if it was the right time. Go ahead.
Oh, I am so happy for him. We have just, like I always go back on, what Kyle would want is for anybody that knew him or was part of his life is to have a happy life. Be happy in the normal, regular things, or so-called normal, but just in the regular, everyday things of life, to be able to enjoy going on a picnic, taking your kids to the park, sitting around watching a movie with your kids, with your family, with someone else, talking to the guys that you served with, reflected, talking about the silly things that you guys did, and, not just not the war part of what you did, but the so-called normal things of life, of what you're trying to reintegrate yourself back into, to where it's like, Kent was so far down here, and now he's so far up here. I'm elated, truly elated to see him doing so well and living life and being happy. That's the thing. He's allowed himself to accept that he deserves to be happy. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing that too. We've not even met Elena. We've talked to her several times, but we haven't physically met her. And I am just so looking forward to Kent being happy in just the regular world.
Absolutely. Me too. I'm so excited about that. I love it. So I think this is a beautiful place to wrap up. We have, talked about our beverages, so let me get back to that as we kind of tie out. I've switched. I'm drinking it's like a fizzy water, like a lightly flavored fizzy water. Uh-huh. They've got so many new things right now, right? So this one has like 30 milligrams of caffeine in it. But it's like a citrusy green tea with 30 milligrams of caffeine. So I get a little bit of the bubbles, a little bit of that mouthfeel, a little bit of a pick-me-up if I'm kind of on the go, needing to transition to a different level of stimulated,
right,
productive activity or just enjoyment.
Right.
And
enjoy the simple things.
Mm-hmm. Smelling the roses like they tell us to do, but how do we do it with all this stuff? We got to talk about tools, about how you can channel your Wonder Woman, maybe not all day, every day, but you can, in the week coming up to the wedding, you can think about that. And it can change, But the more you think about it, once you're on the road or you get that thing, maybe that theme song changes. Maybe the new theme song that you need to shift to isn't Kent's Memorial song. Maybe it's, for me, one of my solid go-tos is The Lucky One by Alison Krauss and Union Station. Just the melody, her voice, the little tinkle, 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 the good vibes, the feels, the little emotional spectrum you go through. For me, that's just centering and anchoring. So that's something that I kind of pull back to. And actually, a good buddy of mine, Nick, deployed with him multiple times. He was on that last one as well. Great fighter, great warrior, amazing person. When he was trying to teach me to be better at breath holding to get me through certain training evolutions, he taught me the power of anchoring myself in songs and music. So, boom. And that's just one piece of it. So, you can switch that to channel your inner Wonder Woman. So we talked about tools that we can use to get through. I know, puppy. I know. See? Look, the puppy loves me now, which is beautiful. So, now, I know. So anyway, let's just wrap it up real quick because we got some energy flow changes and the dog is sensing that. I'm in transition, so I'm a little bit more anxious. That's fine. We've got these beautiful tools. So now we have not only, we've started to help me develop my brand and kind of the flow that I'm looking to achieve. We have celebrated Kyle Price, your family, his unit, his story, and stories like it. We're going to his wedding, and they're going to give me a ride because I don't even have a vehicle right now. So I get to, now my just, oh cool, I get to go to the wedding has now been amplified and exponentially increased because now I get to ride with my family to my best friend's wedding, and I get to just be, and it's so exciting. So we've got so much beautiful stuff to look forward to. I also want to try to find creative and unique ways we can express love and send hugs. We talked about hugs. How can we send Kent and his wife Elena, I knew that. I just, like I said, brain issues. Kent and Elena, how can we send some love and hugs to Kent and Elena, whether that's digitally, whether that's a card, doesn't matter. Let's think about how we can love them, celebrate their new chapter, celebrate their new genesis and the birth of their new relationship after going through what they've gone through. And we've got tools. We've done it. I think that's a pretty good work for BD Mobile. Take one.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, I love you guys. I'm excited. I think we've done some really good work here. I'm going to wrap this up and translate. Oh, the last thing I remembered. Bumpers. I knew I was going to forget something. Bumpers. Before we wrap up, I want to give another shout out because it's actually in my hand right now as I was processing through what I need to do next to transition to my next step. The reason I'm saying this is for me, it's reinforcing neurologically things that I need to develop and learn. So when I talk sometimes, it may not even be for you. I talk a lot, so knowing that might help you understand a little bit better. But we need to do our bumper. We need to give our shout out back to Tiki Man. He's in San Diego area, Ocean Beach. He's got a storefront property where he does tiki, nautical history, but he's a searcher, man. He wants the real stuff, the authentic stuff, the real antiques or the real authentic vibes. So he is an incredible person, got amazing energy. He's been my neighbor for years as I've kind of jumped in and out. I live on a boat, so I've had different neighbors in the same place, but this guy is super solid. He runs his tiki stuff. He wants to get the tiki to the whole world, the whole tiki to the whole world. I don't know, but it has a lot to do with wood. We're going to reference wood a lot. I don't know how he wants to wood the world, but you got to check out Tiki Man. You got to check out his stuff. I'm going to list all of his awesome stuff in social, in the bio, in the summary of this thing, so you can connect with Tiki Man and see all of his incredibly authentic and genuine and amazing touches of nautical history and tiki culture. Thank you all very much, and until next time, you all have a wonderful time.
Thank you for joining us today on this curious roller coaster of life. If this is your stop, please exit peacefully and enjoy the rest of your day. If you're ready for another one, just push play. A final note before you go. Thank you. And thank you for feeling. The distillation and aging process is different for everyone. I'm not quite sure what you're ready for, so please sip slowly and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey and I'm feeling fine. Drinking that smooth whiskey.